Now, there's been a row going on, largely on social media, but probably in other parts of reality as well. Ms Birbalsingh, a lady of this parish, we've spoken to her many times, headmistress of the Michaela Community School, one of the best schools in Britain, constantly under attack these days because she's considered to be, in quotes, right-wing. And she suffered particularly badly recently after a tweet that she put out when Ike Turner died. I'll let her explain it to you, but basically she's asking for Labour MP Ms Phillips to basically apologise to her for accusing her of things that she hasn't done. Catherine, very good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Is it easy? I mean, it's a complicated story, this, but it's not that complicated. Do you want to just give us a quick run-through of what happened?
Yeah. Well, Ike Turner sadly died, and a friend sent me a GIF, which I then tweeted out. It had several photos of Tina, different iconic photos. For whatever reason, the GIF didn't work, and it rested on one photo, which was a photo of Tina with Ike Turner. And I had put good times at the top, which of course would be a bit odd given that her husband was abusive and everybody knows this.
Right.
Clearly, any sensible person looked at this and thought, oh, that's a bit of a mistake. Ms Phillips, however, and she wasn't the only one who was horrible, but she is an MP after all, and we have higher expectations of our MPs. She tweeted 4 times to her 630,000 followers saying that I was a supporter of domestic violence, which clearly, imagine if I really were a supporter of domestic violence, would I really use Ike Turner's death as my opportunity to announce to the world that that is what I think? Obviously not. Right. And even when I said that I wasn't clearly a supporter of domestic violence, she said, sure, she was very sarcastic about it. It was just, she did not do what MPs should do. And frankly, I don't understand. I don't know Ms Phillips. My school is not in her constituency. I have nothing to do with her. And yet she decided to just pick on me for no reason. 1 million people saw that first tweet of hers. And she also called into question safeguarding at my school, saying that I was a safeguarding risk, essentially, to kids, and so was our school. And so people then got worried. Oh, you know, what about the poor children at Michaela? Yeah. She's never engaged with a single argument I've ever made. All she did was attack me. If she genuinely thought there was a worry about safeguarding at my school, she could have contacted the governor. She could have written in onto the website. But instead, she sent out these 4 tweets to her 630,000 followers in order to create, a mob attack on me. And to just be horrible. Yeah. And why be horrible to me? I don't even know her. I don't have anything to do with her. And my reasoning is that this deep kind of anger that she feels with me, she kept quoting a speech I had given at this NatCon, National Conservatism Conference, a week before. She kept quoting bits of it, not engaging with any of my arguments, mind you, just harassing me with it. And I think that that's because I'm Black. And I think that because I'm Black, I'm not allowed to have conservative views. And this is quite common. I come across it often. And I think one of the reasons why, because this is bigger than just Ms Phillips, and actually you say I'm asking for an apology, I'm not really asking for anything. And I don't want anything done to Ms Phillips either, you know. I'm highlighting this as a real problem in our society where ethnic minorities are essentially owned by the left. Yeah. That we're not allowed to have a variety of views politically, and that the idea of us being conservative, me attending and speaking at this National Conservatism Conference is outrageous. A number of people said to me, but how could you go to this conference? This is outrageous that I went to this conference. And I think the reason why they think that is because I'm Black, because Black people aren't meant to be on the right. And it's not even, you know, but my views are mixed.
But you're not particularly on the right anyway. I mean, I wouldn't pretend to know you, but you've sat here opposite me in the studio. You're what strikes me as a very competent, very commonsensical individual, which is why we do what we do here. Not every view that we have is right-wing. Not every view that we have is in one particular political direction. You run a very successful school. You're a highly trained and qualified individual. You know, frankly, I don't know what Ms Phillips is trained in, but I take it that she hasn't yet taken any of these tweets down or apologised, really.
Well, what I would really love is for Jess Phillips to come and visit our school. That's one thing I would say, is that she and other members of the Labour Party are very welcome to come and visit us here at Michaela and see the good work that we are doing with children in the inner city from deprived backgrounds, enabling them to change their stars and have a bite at the apple. You know, that's what we're about. And I don't know why it is that she is attacking me when she doesn't know me, and just attacking me as opposed to engage. She disagrees with something I've said. By all means, let's have a debate.
Yes.
I met with Diane Abbott a year ago for dinner, and she and I don't agree on much, but she was never rude to me. She wasn't encouraging her 600,000 followers to attack me and bringing safeguarding into question in my school. It really is. It's deeply worrying if our MPs behave in this way. They have a duty to demonstrate to the rest of us what decent behavior is like. And not just pick on individuals because you don't like the way the things that they think. And in particular, as I say, where does this deep-seated anger come from? I think it has to do with my race. Now, not everybody will agree with me. And one of the issues with this idea that ethnic minorities have to voice leftist views is that the left don't really want to talk about that, because essentially I'm accusing the left of unconscious bias here. And, you know, unconscious racist bias, I don't want to say that it's racism, because this isn't anyone being rabidly racist. This is unconscious bias. And it's also the case that often people on the right don't necessarily want to recognize unconscious bias. So that means no one on the right and no one on the left ever talks about these issues. And that's why people think, how can I be saying such a thing? But it is very much the case. And you see it, frankly, with other women who are brown or black skinned, who are...
Well, I was going to say to you, Priti Patel knows what you're talking about, so does Suella Braverman, two women who happen to have brown skin, who happen to think that we should be tough on immigration in this country, who the left cannot possibly understand, because they look at them and go, but you're from another country. Essentially, it's more racist, actually, than anybody on the right would ever be.
Exactly. And of course you can disagree with them and you can make the arguments, but my key issue with Jess Phillips is she never disagreed with me. She never argued with anything I've ever said. She just attacked who I am and brought my reputation into disrepute, brought my school into disrepute by questioning our safeguarding, suggesting that I'm supportive of domestic violence, which is just an absurd suggestion. It was wrong. And I just want to highlight this because I don't think she should do it again. Yes. And I would very much like to invite her to come visit my school. And you've also posted an open letter to Keir Starmer asking if he would make at least a comment about it. Has he said anything? No, but it hasn't been much time. So I understand that. I understand. But I want to draw his attention. I know that there have been some black Labour MPs who have complained about racism within the party. I don't know specifics of what they're saying. I'm just drawing attention to what I believe is unconscious racist bias here. It's not that she's racist in the old-fashioned sense. It's more that she looks at a black person and thinks, well, she feels a sense of betrayal. Yes. We have betrayed her by not thinking in a leftist manner. And that isn't right. We should all be free to be able to think as we want and to say the things that we feel are right. And then we should all be free to be able to debate them. And I'd happily debate her if that's what she'd like, about what works in schools, about, you know, the success that we're having here at Michaela. I would have thought that the success that we have here at Michaela with all these ethnic minority inner city kids should be exactly the kind of thing the Labour Party should be celebrating and supporting and be really thrilled about, which is why, again, I extend my invitation to any Labour MP that might like to come and visit us. And also, you've seen and you've made it clear that there are other organisations like the BBC, other sort of left-wing people who have piled in on her side as if you should never have gone to that place to make a speech on the basis that there might have been people there that you disagree with. Well, you know, I'm sure there are people at Labour Party conference that say things that not everybody in the Labour Party agrees with. It's supposed to be a broad church. They're supposed to be grown-ups, but they don't seem to be able to act like grown-ups. Well, indeed. And you know, at the National Conservative Conference, I met some people who I would consider very much to be on the left. I met some floating voters. There were a variety of people there, all just sharing ideas and having interesting discussions. I don't know why we can't have interesting discussions, why we want to ban me from talking at various conferences. That's not right. It's not right. I'm black and I'm British, and I have some conservative views. I have some more centrist views, and I even have some more left-wing views. But the fact is that it's okay for me to lean more towards the conservative side, which overall I do. I'm a small c conservative. I describe myself as that. I have small c conservative values, such as believing in personal responsibility, believing in a sense of duty towards the community, having a sense of self-sacrifice. I believe in those old small c conservative values that most of our grandfathers and grandmothers would have taken for granted. And that is very much what our school is all about. It used to be the case, of course, that the left very much embraced those small c conservative values. But more and more, it is the case now, I suppose, with the younger left, that they are more rejecting of those values, which I think is a shame. My own father is very much a man of the left, but very much also a small c conservative.
Yes, and I think that's absolutely right. I mean, we have constantly guests on this show who are from ethnic minorities who say, you know, it's ludicrous to assume that all ethnic minorities vote the same way, believe in the same things. It so happens that an awful lot of people from the Indian subcontinent are quite conservative in their values socially, and why wouldn't they be therefore conservative voters? You know, the whole thing is an absolute nonsense. But listen, I really appreciate your time, Catherine. I know you're a busy woman. Thank you so much. Hopefully it can be resolved.